Have you ever woken up in the morning, just sat quietly on the edge of the bed, and felt your body just slowing down? Not in pain necessarily, but just not as quick, not as strong as it used to be. Your steps feel a little hesitant, your arms feel a bit heavier to lift, and you have to take a deep breath just to get the day started. If that sounds familiar, you are absolutely not alone. After 60, many people begin to face muscle loss, a slow, quiet process that makes the body weaker little by little each day. And while this is common with age, here's the truth: it doesn't have to be inevitable. What's fascinating is this: muscle recovery and building don't just depend on what you do during the day. They happen primarily when you sleep. That's right, nighttime is when your body gets to work repairing, regenerating, and strengthening those muscle fibers that got tired throughout the day. But to do that, your body needs to be fueled with exactly the kinds of food that can nourish your muscles naturally and safely, even as you age. In today's story, I'm going to explore with you 4 foods you should consider eating before bed, simple companions that have the ability to help prevent muscle wasting, restore strength, and help you wake up each morning feeling a little steadier, a little stronger in your own body. And especially the last food, just a small spoonful before you sleep, can make a noticeable difference that might surprise you. So stay until the end so you don't miss the most important one. Let's get started. Have you ever tried a little bedtime snack that actually made you feel better in the morning? I'd love to hear about your experience. Now, let's start with something that's gentle, green, fuzzy on the outside, and sweet and slightly tart on the inside. That's the kiwi. You might think of kiwi as a refreshing summer snack, or something you add to a fruit salad. But here's what many people don't know: this little fruit is a silent hero for supporting sleep and body recovery, especially if you enjoy it in the evening. Let me tell you a story. A gentleman named George, 74, a widower and retired teacher, shared this with me over tea one afternoon. He said, "You know, I just don't sleep through the night anymore. And when I wake up, I feel stiff, like my body's been clenched up all night." He wasn't really in pain, just tired, worn down. His legs weren't as steady as they used to be. His hands had lost the easy strength he'd once taken for granted. He just figured it was part of getting old. But I suggested a simple change: eat 2 kiwis about an hour before bed each night, for 2 weeks. That's it. You wouldn't believe the difference it made. George didn't just fall asleep faster, which he hadn't done in years, he also told me he started waking up feeling lighter, more rested, and moving more easily. He laughed and said, "I don't creak like the old chair anymore. My legs feel like they belong to me again." So, what makes kiwi so special? First off, kiwi is one of the few natural foods that contain melatonin, the hormone that signals to your brain, "Hey, it's time for sleep." While many people take melatonin supplements, kiwi provides a food-based, natural version, which your body can absorb and use gently. And studies have shown that eating kiwi before bed can improve both the quality and duration of sleep, especially in older adults. But here's where it gets even better, deeper. Better sleep is exactly when your body does its most important muscle repair work. While you're dreaming, your body is busy restoring worn-out tissues, balancing hormones, and rebuilding strength. But that only happens if you actually reach those deep sleep stages. Kiwi helps open the door to that. Beyond melatonin, kiwis are also rich in antioxidants like vitamin C and E. Why is this important? Because as we age, our muscles are more prone to inflammation and oxidative stress. That's what causes that stiff feeling, the aches, and the general sense of slowing down. Antioxidants help clean up that damage, so your muscle cells can focus on recovery instead of repair. Kiwi is also a good source of potassium, which supports proper muscle contraction and helps prevent those nighttime leg cramps. And if you've ever woken up in the middle of the night with a calf cramp sharp as a knife at 3 a.m., you know how priceless that is. And here's what older folks love the most: kiwis are easy to digest and won't spike your blood sugar. Despite their sweetness, they have a low glycemic index, making them safe for people managing diabetes or watching their insulin levels. They're also naturally low in sodium, which is great for anyone dealing with high blood pressure. So, what's the best way to enjoy kiwi? Just peel 2 ripe kiwis about an hour before you plan to go to bed. Eat them slowly, perhaps while you're winding down with a quiet book or soft music. It's a small ritual, but it sends a signal to your body: rest time is coming, recovery is about to begin. Of course, as with anything, listen to your body. A small number of people might experience mild stomach discomfort if they're sensitive to fruit acids or have existing digestive conditions. But for most, kiwi is wonderfully gentle, soothing, and well tolerated, even helping to relax. So we've explored the quiet power of kiwi, a gentle way to usher in better sleep and support recovery. But now, let's move on to something a bit more familiar. Something most of us have peeled at least once. Maybe enjoyed with toast in the morning or added to a favorite family recipe. Let's talk about eggs. Now you might be thinking, eggs before bed. Yes, that's right. Most of us think of eggs as a breakfast staple, but here's the surprise. An egg before bed can do something quite special for your body while you sleep, especially if you're over 60 and trying to maintain your strength, balance, and muscle mass. What makes eggs so powerful isn't just that they're high in protein, though they are. Eggs provide what nutrition experts call complete protein, meaning they contain all 9 essential amino acids that your muscles need to grow and repair. And they are particularly rich in leucine, that critical amino acid that truly triggers muscle protein synthesis. That's a fancy way of saying when you eat an egg, your body gets a very clear message: hey, time to rebuild. Now, here's the interesting part for seniors. As we get older, our bodies become a little less responsive to small amounts of protein. A 25-year-old might eat a small portion of chicken and build muscle. But someone over 60, they often need a bit more high-quality protein, especially leucine-rich protein, to get the same benefit. And that's where eggs shine. Just one large egg contains about 6 grams of protein with about 500 to 600 milligrams of leucine, enough to make a significant contribution to your overnight muscle repair. If you're a light evening eater, or your dinner isn't particularly high in protein, then a gently cooked egg, like a soft-boiled one, an hour before bed, could be just the missing piece your body needs to stay strong. But there's more. Eggs also provide vitamin D, a vitamin that many older adults are deficient in, especially if you don't spend much time in the sun. And vitamin D isn't just for bones. It plays a big role in muscle function and coordination too. Combine that with the choline found in eggs, a nutrient that supports brain and nerve function, and you have a food that helps your body move and respond more easily and confidently. Now, you might wonder, what about cholesterol? That's a valid question, especially since eggs got a bad rap in the past. Here's what the current science indicates: for most people, moderate egg consumption, around 1 egg a day, does not increase the risk of heart disease. In fact, some studies suggest that eggs may actually improve your cholesterol profile by raising your good cholesterol, HDL. Unless your doctor has specifically advised you to avoid eggs, they can be a very safe, very valuable part of your diet. Of course, how you prepare the egg matters. An egg cooked gently, think soft-boiled, poached, or lightly scrambled with olive oil, will be easier to digest and retain more nutrients. Avoid frying them heavily in butter or adding too much salt, which can irritate your stomach or raise blood pressure. And if you have difficulty chewing, a soft egg is one of the easiest proteins to eat. No strong chewing required. Now, let me share a real-life example. There was a woman named Lean I met through a health workshop, 68 years old, always cheerful, always bringing fruit for everyone. She'd struggled for years with feeling weak in the morning. She used to joke, "I get out of bed with my legs all wobbly like overcooked noodles." She didn't eat late dinners and usually skipped any snacks after sunset, thinking it would help her sleep better. We simply added 1 poached egg to her evening routine. Not a big meal, just a small, warm bite about an hour before she went to bed. 2 weeks later, she told me, "I didn't think it would do anything, but I don't feel wobbly anymore. I actually feel solid." That's what the right protein before bed can do. It's not about eating a heavy dinner. Not at all. It's about giving your muscles just enough of the right kind of fuel to repair and rebuild while you rest. Your body does the work. You just need to give it the tools it needs. Now, let's shift our attention to something you might not expect at all. Something you can hold in the palm of your hand, maybe even forgot in a jar in the back of your pantry. But don't let their small size fool you. These tiny seeds are one of the most underrated bedtime foods there are. I'm talking about pumpkin seeds. Yes, those little green kernels, sometimes called pepitas, that you might find sprinkled on a salad or mixed into granola. But when it comes to your muscles, your sleep, and your overall recovery overnight, pumpkin seeds pack more punch than their small size suggests. Let me introduce you to Harold. Harold is 72, a retired gardener whose hands still look like they know how to work the soil. He came to me with a common concern: I wake up every morning feeling tight in my legs. I stretch, I move, but it still feels like I didn't rest at all. We looked at his evening routine, his meals, his sleep habits, and one thing was missing: magnesium. You see, magnesium is a mineral that helps your muscles relax. Without enough of it, your muscles can stay partly tense even through the night. That's why some people wake up feeling sore or stiff even if they got 8 hours of sleep. And guess what? One of the best natural sources of magnesium is, yep, pumpkin seeds. Just a small handful, about 1 ounce, around 28 grams, can give you about 37% of your daily magnesium needs. That's impressive for such a tiny seed. And when you enjoy them in the evening, you're providing your body with the tools it needs to physically unwind, not just mentally. But magnesium isn't the only trick up the pumpkin seed sleeve. They're also one of the few natural foods that contain tryptophan, an amino acid your body converts into serotonin and then into melatonin, that sleep-inducing hormone we talked about. While tryptophan itself won't knock you out instantly, combining it with magnesium creates a powerful 1-2 punch for deeper, more restful sleep. And deeper sleep means more growth hormone release, more cell repair, and yes, more muscle rebuilding through the night, all while you're resting under the covers. And let's not forget, pumpkin seeds are also a good source of plant-based protein, about 7 grams per ounce, along with healthy fats that help slow down digestion. That means your body gets a slow, steady release of amino acids throughout the night, rather than a quick surge and then a drop-off. It's gentle, sustained nourishment, which is exactly what aging muscles need to recover and get stronger. Now you might wonder, how do I eat pumpkin seeds in the evening? Simple. Keep the portion size small. 1 to 2 tablespoons is plenty. You can eat them raw, or sprinkle them on a little plain Greek yogurt if you want an extra protein boost. Some people like to warm them gently in a pan to bring out the nutty flavor, but you don't have to. Just keep them unsalted. Sodium late in the evening isn't friendly to your blood pressure, especially if you're managing hypertension. They are also rich in zinc, which helps with cell repair, immune function, and even hormone balance. This is especially important for men over 60 looking to maintain healthy testosterone levels, as this is directly linked to muscle mass. All that from a tiny seed. Nature doesn't waste space. One small word of caution: as with all nuts and seeds, pumpkin seeds are calorie-dense. That doesn't make them bad. Just be mindful not to eat a giant handful, especially late at night. Keep it small. Think of them not as a snack, but as an evening drink for your muscles and your sleep. And now we've arrived at the final one, the silent champion of nighttime strength. It doesn't have the sweetness of fruit or the crunch of seeds. It's not colorful or flashy. But if there is one food that truly works while you sleep to rebuild the muscle that time tries to take away, this is cottage cheese. Now, before you make a face or think, "Oh, that's what my grandmother used to eat," stay with me here. Because behind that simple, lumpy texture is one of the most effective muscle-building foods you can eat, especially before bed, and especially after 60. Let me explain why. There's a special type of protein found in cottage cheese called casein. And casein is different from the protein in chicken, fish, or even eggs. It digests slowly. That means once you eat it, your body doesn't burn through it right away. Instead, it releases amino acids slowly over several hours, keeping your muscles gently nourished throughout the night. Why is that important? Because when you sleep, your body goes into repair mode. But if you don't have enough amino acids floating around in your bloodstream, those building blocks for muscle, your body can actually start breaking down muscle to fuel other processes. That is the absolute last thing you want, especially if you're dealing with age-related muscle loss. Now, imagine providing your body with a steady trickle of those amino acids all night long. That's exactly what a few spoonfuls of cottage cheese can do. It doesn't spike your blood sugar. It doesn't feel heavy in your stomach. It just quietly works, supporting muscle growth, repair, and strength, all while you're resting. A dear friend of mine, Martha, is 76. Still sharp as a tack, but she'd started noticing her legs getting weaker. Stairs were harder to climb. Getting out of the car took more effort. She was told it was just age, but that answer didn't sit right with her. So we made one small change, a small bowl of low-fat cottage cheese, just a few spoonfuls, about 30 minutes before she went to bed. Within 3 weeks, she told me, it feels like my body finally got the message. I'm waking up with more spring in my step. I feel grounded again. That's what happens when your body gets what it's been missing. Cottage cheese is also rich in leucine, that muscle-activating amino acid we talked about with eggs, but it delivers that leucine over a longer period. Think of it this way, eggs give you a quick oomph. Cottage cheese is a gentle, steady hand holding you up all night. And if you're watching your blood sugar, here's even better news. Cottage cheese is naturally low in carbohydrates, especially the plain, low-fat kind. It won't mess with your insulin levels or cause a nighttime energy crash. In fact, the protein in cottage cheese can help stabilize blood sugar overnight, which is incredibly helpful for people with diabetes or prediabetes. If you're concerned about sodium, just pick up the low-sodium version. They're widely available now. And for those watching heart health, opt for the low-fat or 1% fat kind to keep saturated fat in check. Now, let's talk taste and texture. Some people love plain cottage cheese. Others like to mix it with something, maybe a few slices of banana, or even a little sprinkle of cinnamon. If you have a bit of that kiwi left from earlier, it pairs wonderfully. The key is to keep it light and simple. Remember, this isn't a meal. It's a signal to your body, here's what you need. Take your time. Repair while I sleep. Just a spoonful can make a difference. It really can, and here's the beauty of it, no prep required, no cooking, no fuss. You don't have to stand over a stove or use a blender. You just open the tub, grab a spoon, and nourish your body quietly, gently, effectively. Many older adults think they need to do something big to feel strong again. High-intensity workouts, complicated meal plans, expensive supplements. But the truth is, strength after 60 comes from consistency in the small things, from knowing what to give your body and when. And when it comes to bedtime, a little cottage cheese is like a goodnight hug for your muscles. So, now that we've walked this quiet evening path together, take a gentle breath and reflect. You don't have to overhaul your life. You don't have to count every calorie or pursue perfection. What your body truly needs, especially after 60, is something more sustainable. A few thoughtful choices made with consistency and care. And tonight, that choice might be as simple as peeling a kiwi, soft boiling an egg, savoring a spoonful of cottage cheese, or letting a few pumpkin seeds melt on your tongue before you turn off the light. These aren't just bedtime snacks. They are acts of kindness to your future self. They nourish your muscles. They soothe your nervous system. They support deeper sleep and stronger mornings. And with each quiet evening ritual, you are reminding your body, you still matter. You are still strong. And you are still capable of rebuilding. Because here is the truth, muscle loss is not inevitable. It is reversible. It is preventable. And it starts with giving your body what it needs. Not in loud, overwhelming ways, but in simple, loving steps. So tonight, instead of going to bed feeling like your strength is slipping away, you can rest assured that your body is gently rebuilding while you sleep. So there you have it, we've explored 4 natural, gentle, yet nutrient-rich foods, silent companions that support muscle recovery and strength while you rest. At the age of 60 and beyond, every small food choice can make a big difference, not just for physical strength, but for the feeling of confidence and capability in daily life. If today's story gave you a spark of hope, or simply inspired you to consider better care for your body before bed, then I'd truly love to hear from you. Out of these 4 foods, which one feels most approachable to you? Or is there one you'd like to try tonight? Please share your thoughts in the comments section, because who knows, your small story might be the motivation someone else needs for a change. And if you found this content helpful, don't forget to hit the like button, share the video with loved ones, and subscribe to the Senior Health Insights channel, where we're learning together how to age proactively, strongly, and with deep care. Until next time, wishing you a deep, restful sleep, a body that gets stronger day by day, and waking up each morning feeling a little more at peace. You deserve that.